hashtag Stampin' Sharon. I have been in my studio all day long playing with new products from the new annual catalog. Good morning, Magnolia is a gorgeous set, but I just kept staring at those papers. So today I'm going to show you how to make a drapery card, a drapery fold on a card, and we're going to make 2 cards. Just watch. If you've not already subscribed to my channel, you can do so below. After you subscribe, hit the notification bell. I upload videos on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. If I can ever help you with any of your supplies from Stampin' Up, let me know. Today I'm going to be using the Good Morning Magnolia stamp set and these beautiful papers. I love these papers. They're so pretty. Here are the 2 cards that we're making. They're with the drapery fold technique. And you tell me, I think I like the white one better, but I wanted to pull it a little bit more color, so I used the petal pink on the background of that one. Here's the stamp set. We're going to be using this fun piece because I didn't know what it was, so I wanted to play with it. And then we're using the Thinking of You. As I said, I'm using the Designer Series paper. It is 4 3/4 by 10 inches. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to put it in the trimmer, and we're going to put it at the 3/4 inch mark. And I'm just going to do a little mark right here. Then I'm going to turn it 90 degrees and do it again at the 3/4 inch mark. Then I'm going to start scoring. So right now I'm going to move the cutting blade out of the way, and I'm going to score. Hopefully you can see this in the camera. At 2 inches, at 3 inches, at 5 inches, at 6 inches, eight inches, and 9 inches. Next, what I want to do is I want to line up those pencil marks. Hopefully you can still see, in the cutting tray, or the gutter is what I call it. So when both lined up, now I'm going to pull in my cutting blade. So now I have 2 pieces to make 2 cards. I've always said if you're going to make 1 card, make 2 cards. So I want to start fan folding these on those score lines. And I do want to give it a good crease so that my cardstock or my paper will lay down better. Okay, so we have 1, and I figured out, instead of trying to have somebody else help me hold these, if I just add some snail, it helps it stay together, and it helps it lay down flatter when I add it to the card. Next, I want to take this beautiful ribbon. It's like a real soft linen. It's so pretty. Let me pull in my card layer. So my layer is 4 inches. So I'm cutting about 5 inches of ribbon. And since I need 2 for 2 cards, I'm going to go ahead and cut the other one. I'm going to add some adhesive. Now they're sticking together. I'm going to bring this back in. Oh, before I do that, I want to show you that you want to make sure, like for some reason, my folds are off a little bit. I don't know why, but somehow it ends up doing that. So I could either trim this down, or I can try to maybe finagle this a little bit, but no, I can't because it is, I stuck it down. So I'm probably going to have to trim my card a little bit. I've done several of the drapery fold. I did a double drapery fold with some vellum. And for some reason, my measurements are the same, but for some reason, it may not always line up. I don't get it. If somebody's smarter than me, please let me know. So I ended up trimming off just 1/8 of an inch, and now it fits perfectly. So now this layer is 3 7/8 inch. I'm going to put it on my card base just to see if I'm okay with that. And you know, it's such a small amount. I'm really fine. You know, I mean, handmade cards are not perfect. And I think sometimes we get caught up in, oh, it's not perfect, I need to start all over again. I always say that any error is just a chance to be more creative. Just figure out what else you can do to save that. All right, now for my unusual stamp, I thought it looked like a curtain rod. So I decided, since I was making a drapery fold card, I was going to have a curtain rod. Now, this is way fancier than anything I have at my house, but some of you may have some that are pretty fancy like that. I'm going to add some adhesive on the back. And I just find by using my silicone mat, I can lay this down and not have to worry about it sticking to my work surface. So what do you think? Does it look like a drapery hook? I mean, a drapery rod? All right, let's lift this up, wrap our ribbon around. We're going to add a little extra adhesive here. And we're going to add it to the card front. And then the last thing I'm going to do is stamp the sentiment. Thinking of you. Now, if this bothers you that it's flapping, I just took some glue dots. I felt like it was easier to use a few glue dots than it was to try to put adhesive all the way down my backside. It just, I don't know, I was afraid that it wouldn't. I was afraid that when I go to lay it down, I was going to struggle with it getting crooked or whatever, and that was just too much adhesive. So that's my easy way of doing it. Just use a few glue dots, or you could even squirt some multi-purpose liquid glue up underneath there. Okay, so there's one card. And now we're going to do the same thing. Let me find all my... Nope, let's see. There we go. So I will point out the difference. Whoops. We want to go back. So we're fan folding. It's hard to feel the score lines. I love that you can get 2 cards out of this. Isn't that fun? So now we're going to use our adhesive. First, we're going to measure. Let's do this one the right way. Let's see how we're doing. And look at that. That one's perfect. Explain to me why it happens. I don't know. I don't get it. But that one's fine. So let's add some adhesive. To hold this down. And then let's go ahead and stamp our curtain rod. And we already have adhesive on our ribbon. Add some adhesive on the back. Have you ever made a drapery fold card? I think it's a neat way to use, I mean, really, I didn't use that much Designer Series paper. I know how we always love to hang on to that because I'm making 2 cards out of what was my layer, 4 3/4 by 10 inches. So, you know, it's a great way to use our Designer Series paper more sparingly. So for this one, I'm using Petal Pink as my card base. It is 4 1/4 by 11 inches, scored and folded at 5 1/2. We're going to add our Whisper White layer. And we're going to stamp our sentiment. Add some glue dots, hold it down. And now we're going to add this layer on the inside. So both of my Whisper White layers were 4 inches by 5 1/4. Two cards at once. I hope you like it. I hope that you found my instructions easy, easy to follow, easy for you to recreate at home. And anytime you can make 2 cards at one sitting, go for it. Happy stamping, y'all.